Afenifere Director of Research, Dr. Akin Fapunda, has warned that if Peter Obi and Kwankwaso's joint ticket that is receiving a lot of national appeal right now, that if that ticket is to dislodge Tinubu and stop him from getting second term, that he fears that a war will break out.
I made a post yesterday that His Excellency Mr. Gregory Peter Obi is smarter than Honorable Nyesom Wike. And somebody commented, in that post saying that Peter Obi is smarter than all the Nigerian politicians. That has always been my stand.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another update. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you according to the time you will make this video. So it is now official, it is now confirmed that Peter Obi and Kwankwaso together are a moving force. So Afenifere Director has this to say, which I will let you all see the video in a minute. According to Afenifere Director, he said that if Peter Obi and Kwankwaso should be allowed to have a free and fair election, that is very sure they are going to clear everywhere. They are going to clear the north as well. And if they clear the vote from the northern part of Nigeria, that there will be trouble in the camp of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that there will be serious commotion in APC camp, because they will not want Peter Obi and Kwankwaso to win the northern part of Nigeria, especially in Kano. You all know the force that Kano State carries and that of Rivers State as well. So according to him, he said he's putting this warning out that APC should be careful. APC should open their eye. They should be very watchful to make sure that they did not lose guard. Otherwise, if they lose guard and Peter Obi and Kwankwaso eventually smart them, that it will be more commotion in APC. In fact, I want you all to see the video. I will be back with the rest of my thought. But before then, if you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Lady J, and here is Lady J Corner. I bring you news and politics from Nigeria to my Nigeria viewers and Nigerians in the diaspora. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, hit on the subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell, so should there be future video, you will be among the first to get notified. And thank you to my returning subscribers. 6 years on YouTube, we are still kicking, we are still going strong. Thank you very much to YouTube as well for giving us the opportunity to use this platform. Now let's see the video together, and there's another video after that I want you all to see as well, and then I will be back with the rest of my thoughts.
Afenifere Director of Research, Dr. Akin Fapunda, has warned that if Peter Obi and Kwankwaso's joint ticket that is receiving a lot of national appeal right now, that if that ticket is to dislodge Tinubu and stop him from getting second term, that he fears that a war will break out between the Igbos and Yorubas, which will make Rwanda genocide of 1994 look like a child's play. Now, why would an Afenifere chieftain say such a thing at this critical period of our political life, when Nigerians are preparing for 2027 election and praying that everything will go smoothly? He is coming up with a story that there will be problem if Kwankwaso and Peter Obi joint ticket is to dislodge Tinubu and stop a Yoruba man from completing 8 years at the presidential villa representing southern Nigeria. First of all, we're going to talk about this, but let us listen to what Dr. Akin Fapunda had to say so that you hear him clearly. Then when we come back, we'll discuss. Watch.
Somebody has to come up to say enough is enough.
If I get you right, Doc, what you're saying is that regardless of whatever tickets the opposition throws up and they go up against the incumbent government, even if they win, we should not expect any substantial or remarkable difference. Is that,
in fact, it will cause the greatest damage to the polity because it's not. I mean, let's do raw. I don't sugarcoat it. It's assumed what we have now is the turn of the South. Turn of the South, turn of the Southwest. If Obi and Kwaso had to come in and obliterate the Southern second term, the war between the Yorubas and the Igbos will go to the highest level. That, the Igbos connive with the North to cut out Tinubu. But Tinubu is not performing. No saying Yoruba person will defend Tinubu. But this time next year, if it happens, we will be playing with Rwanda between the Igbos and the Yorubas. That the Igbos will make effort to uproot what is so-called Yoruba price. It's not deserving, it's not worthy. But in the streets, people should think about the implications of it. And I'm worried about what will happen if an Obi gets northern support and cuts out Tinubu for a second term, which Yorubas wrongly, not meritorily believe is their turn. Something will have to happen next year. I don't want to think about it, but then whatever you sow, you reap.
So let's interrogate this because it's a very...
That was Dr. Akin Fapunda, who is the Director of Research of Afenifere, the Pan-Yoruba Social-Cultural Organization, the Apex Yoruba Social-Cultural Organization, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, social-cultural organization in Nigeria today. Their Director of Research is warning that he fears that if Obi and Kwankwaso succeeds, Rwanda genocide will have a repeat in Nigeria, in Southwest in particular. And you have to take it serious because he is the Director of Research of Afenifere. Maybe that this information he is sharing is based on a research. For those who don't know, the Rwanda he was talking about is the Rwanda genocide of 1994 that lasted for about 100 days, in which over 1 million people, close to 1 million people, were killed when Hutus used 100 days to slaughter close to 1 million Tutsis. One of the worst cases of genocidal killings in history. Dr. Akin Fapunda is saying that he feared that this will happen if Peter Obi and Kwankwaso are to dislodge Tinubu and stop him from spending 8 years in power. But why would any Yoruba man or woman raise up arms against an Igbo because Tinubu was stopped from getting second term? First of all, Tinubu himself, we have to put it clearly, Tinubu himself collaborated or connived with the same North in 2015 to stop a Southern president from getting second term. And that Southern president is Jonathan, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan is no less a human being than Tinubu. But Tinubu connived with the North and took power from Jonathan.
I made a post yesterday that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is smarter than Honorable Nyesom Wike. And somebody commented, in that post saying that Peter Obi is smarter than all the Nigerian politicians. That has always been my stand, from the beginning of time. But that very post was very precise. It was to draw not just a comparison, but I was trying to bring something very important to the attentions of the public, especially those of you who follow me religiously on this very channel.
Nigeria is not a poor country. Nigeria is rooted in poverty, and we will change it. So build a new Nigeria that is possible. And we assure you, look at our sign. That is the sign our forefathers. That is the sign our forefathers did for independence. That is the sign our forefathers used to fight for independence. This is the sign we use to liberate Nigeria. This is the sign we use to liberate Nigeria. A new Nigeria is possible.
But then, I wasn't planning to make any further publication about that very post until I came across a video interview section where Dele Momodu was saying that he is not going to contest any longer for presidency. That he would, according to him, he said that there are powers he will refer to as principalities and powers that controls Nigeria. What to make me laugh for this video you're about to watch is that Dele Momodu said he could not even get one vote. And again, the principalities and powers. Before I tell you why I made that post yesterday, or just to add more flesh to that very post, I would like you to listen to Honorable Dele Momodu, and we shall take it from there.
So, would you consider running again?
No.
Why?
Experience is the best teacher. I've come to realize that there are powers that you can describe as principalities that control Nigeria.
Sure.
And unless a major political party decides to adopt me, where you have a consensus of people who say, hey, Dele Momodu is best suited to change and to lead Nigeria, then I can consider it. But if I would have to pick my money to go and buy a presidential nomination form of about 100 million sometimes, the last one I spent about 50 million buying the form. Yeah, 50 million would have bought me a property, and it was a waste. Nobody vote, not even one vote, because everything was monetized. There was one of the candidates who paid as high as $30,000 per delegate, and we had 774 delegates. Yeah. So how do you want to compete with them? They've stolen the country blind, and they are doing all kinds of deals to make money, especially those in the oil-rich areas. It's not easy. You can't compete with them. That's why they insult Nigerians anyhow, because the amount of money available to them in raw cash. There is no country in the world where people control raw cash like Nigeria. The bulk of their money is not in any bank, so they are not traceable to any bank. And so they have the money. If today you say to some politicians that, look, you need $500 million to become a president, they will find it. So people like us, where will I start from? So
I'm sure you saw that very video from Dele Momodu. Dele Momodu said he could not even get even one vote. Hey, let's make me laugh. Well, right? Now the principalities and powers. That is the same man you want Peter Obi to go and engage on with in a primaries election. The same man, all of us, both you, Dele Momodu, Kenneth Okoko, and all the APC, media warriors. The same man, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is whom you want Peter Obi to go and engage on the primaries with. Even though you cannot compare Peter Obi with Dele Momodu, but the same trajectory of event will play out. We know how it works in Nigeria and how it works with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So I believe that by now you will begin to realize, a few things. That Peter Obi is actually smart. A wise man once said that when you do not know what you are up against, you suffer defeat for every victory. If you do not know what you are up against. And Peter Obi, his way of life, the lifestyle he has chosen for himself, a life of integrity. I've always told you guys that integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. You are not doing it to please anybody, but you are following due process at all times. You are doing what is right, and you are doing things right at the same time, simultaneously, whether people are watching you or not. I remember, I think a sitting governor in this country, Nigeria, once talked about, either a sitting governor or a minister, how Peter Obi washed the toilet in one of the aircraft. I think they boarded from London. I can't remember where they were driving, where they were flying from. So somebody went into the bathroom, into the toilet inside the aircraft, and they saw that someone else had messed the bathroom up and left. So everybody that goes in or that went in they were always coming out, dissatisfied. So when Peter Obi came, Peter Obi saw that somebody don't go use shit scatter everywhere. Person use shit scatter everywhere. Peter Obi quietly went in and cleaned up the toilet. And guess what? People started using the toilet once again. These are some of the things that you don't see in everyday's lives of politicians from this part of the world, Nigeria, or from Africa. I'm not saying there are not people that can do that. There are, but they are very, very few. They are very scarce. So this is just one of the things, one of the little things you see coming out from a whole track record of previous, records of integrity, life of, simplicity, meaningful life of charity, life of giving, whichever way you want to describe it, that is coming from the encyclopedia of Peter Obi's, past and present life. So it is worth emulating. And then Peter Obi is very strategic. He looks at problems holistically and then approach them decisively. At the industrial level, as an engineer, when we have a problem, we usually conduct what we call a root cause analysis in order to figure out what the root cause of the problem is. The essence of figuring out the root cause of a problem is that it helps you to solve a problem sustainably, so that you don't solve a problem today and tomorrow it reoccurs. You know what I mean? And then even if there is a repetition of that problem, because you did an effective root cause analysis, you should be able to see whether your firewalls were broken, whether the preventive or corrective actions you put in place were not effective enough, or it was broken, or something happened. So Peter Obi already had a very beautiful root cause analysis. Just like it is also reported that a wise man once said, this quote was over the years been attributed to Albert Einstein. There are different accounts of that very wise saying, and one of the accounts says, if I have 1 hour to save the planet, I will spend 59 minutes defining the problem and then use 1 minute to putting up the solution, to solving the problem. Another account of that very wise saying says, if I have 1 hour or 60 minutes to solve a problem, I will spend between around 55 minutes, finding the root cause of the problem or defining the problem, and then use 5 minutes towards finding solutions or providing solutions. Now, for somebody like Nyesom Wike, he didn't know what he was up against. He was too confident on his money. The same way Atiku is always confident on his money. So Nyesom Wike, allegedly, as many expert submissions within the Nigerian politics had over time in the past maintained, thought that also sharing a large chunk of dollars was going to secure him the primaries of PDP. That was precisely in the month of May in the year 2022. So, Honorable Nyesom Wike, filled with confidence, did his homework with respect to dollarizing the primaries, same way Atiku was doing it allegedly. But unfortunately, his money could not save him. Just like you rightly heard Dele Momodu said, that one of the contestants shared up to about $30,000 per delegate. We don't know whether it is Nyesom Wike or Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. But in the end, favoritism played out. In the end, choice played out. In the end, ethnicity played out. And Nyesom Wike lost out in that very primary. We saw how Tambua, relinquished his ambition, presidential ambition, and merged his supporters with that of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And that was how Nyesom Wike lost in that primary. And Atiku grabbed it to be the presidential flag bearer of PDP in 2023 presidential election. If Peter Obi had not done his homework well, if Peter Obi is not a very good problem solver, a very good root cause analyst, he would have fallen into that very trap. But I can categorically tell you, because I said it before in this very channel, that most of you who were cursing Peter Obi, using curse words on him, calling him all sorts of names, that Peter Obi does not even have a political party and all of that. I was just laughing at many of you. If you scroll down my page, you will see that video that I made. I said, many of you are just clueless when it comes to strategies. Many of you are clueless when it comes to this type of politics. That there is never a way Peter Obi will just be too naive without having other plans, plan B, C, D, and E. You know what I mean? Knowing that we live in a country where rascality thrives. So in the end, Peter Obi had to exit ADC when it became very, very clear that there were dangers, that the primaries were going to be dollarized. That is number one. And the ruling party was also causing more problem for the political party with the court cases, the internal wranglings, and all of that. So Peter Obi exited timely. And today he has declared his intention under NDC political party. And they have zoned their presidential ticket to the south, such that if Peter Obi emerges as the president of the federation by 2027, he is going to serve only for 4 years and relinquish his ambition by 2031 for Alhaji Rabiu Kwankwaso. So what Peter Obi did is commendable, it was strategic, it's better than losing your presidential ambition on a platform of a primary election that will never be free, fair, and credible. Yes, it will never be in the favor of Peter Obi, because no matter how much the people, the masses love Peter Obi, primaries will be conducted based on delegates. The people that will vote in that primaries are delegates. And these delegates does not represent the overall interest of the support group of Peter Obi. Neither will it also represent the overall interest of the support group of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And that is where the dangers lies. So whoever that is chosen as one of the delegates from within the party, whether you like it or not, because we live in a country, we live in a continent where a black man has a problem to lead himself. Once they give them $50,000, they will be compromised to vote the highest bidder. Because many of the politicians you see are there for money making, not because they want to build Nigeria. You can see how many of them that rode on Peter Obi's tide of fame during 2023. And they won different seats in the Senate, in the House of Reps, and all of that. Within a twinkle of an eye, they all decamped. Today, many of them are returning back to ADC to come and ride on the same tide of fame of Peter Obi, because APC denied them tickets in their respective constituencies and all of that. That is how unreliable, how unscrupulous, how wicked the heart of man could be, especially when it comes to politics. So Peter Obi's action is commendable. It was timely. Atiku stand a very big risk of not even being on the ballot. Yes, because I think Monday is the deadline. But like I said in one of my videos, don't be surprised that in the end, ADC will still meet the deadline of INEC. Because now, the ruling party wouldn't want Atiku not to be on the ballot now that Peter Obi has exited the party. If Peter Obi did not exit the party, then they will intentionally make sure that no presidential candidate emerges from ADC. So ADC will be disqualified from 2027 presidential election. But now that Peter Obi has exited, chances are very high that they would want Atiku to also emerge so that the vote will be divided. But this time, no matter how much the vote is divided, inshallah, Peter Obi will emerge as the next president of this country so that Nigeria can have a restart. We need to restart this country. There are so many evil and abominations going on that single man who does not have interest in the Nigerian treasuries would need to correct all of those abnormalities. And finally, I would be waiting to address all the concerns now, all the, shenanigans coming from Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. I am waiting to see how ADC ends up with INEC deadline. Then I will come back to address some of the things he's saying about Peter Obi, that Peter Obi cannot fight, Peter Obi cannot sacrifice, Peter Obi cannot do this, Peter Obi cannot do that. We work with facts and figures. So I am waiting for ADC to actually end up on that very timeline with INEC. And then we shall come back to do justice to the entire shenanigans going on now. And at this point, I will allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. Another person see him. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much for watching the video with me. I hope you've seen the video. Whatever you think, leave it in the comment section. Guys, this is so shocking. Like, me personally, I know that if the thing are free and fair, Peter Obi is definitely going to clear like different states in Nigeria. Leave your comment what you think in the comment section. Let's interact together. I'll reply to your comments in the comment section. I'll see you in my next update. I remain your one and only Lady J. Have a wonderful day. Bye.